our triumphant return to your various video screens. I am your host and creep mistress, Jess Bryant. And with me, as usual tonight, is Ben Scaria. Hi, Ben.
Yeah, what's going on? Very excited to be here.
Getting creepy. That's what's going on.
Getting creepy. I missed you. I wasn't here for the last one, and I feel like I didn't get my creeps in.
Well, listen, tonight I'm hitting you with a whole bunch of creeps. So there's enough creep in here for all of us.
I'm ready for some creeps.
Yeah. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Grace. Thanks for watching. Let's see. It's almost the holidays, Ben. Have you caught any Christmas spirits?
I'm surprisingly in a pretty decent Christmas spirit this year. I'm usually a Scrooge about Christmas. I gotta be pretty honest. But this year I'm feeling it a little bit. I don't know why. I think it's just because the rest of the year has been so shitty. You know,
right?
So I'm like, all right, I'll take a little bit of joy and mirth when I can.
Yeah, I listened to Christmas music for the first time today, this year. Right, obviously, for the first time ever.
Oh, how'd you like it?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I was bit by the Christmas bug today. It's very, very fun. I think it's because I made my Amazon wish list and sent it to my family yesterday.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, looking forward to gifts. That's why we're excited finally for Christmas. So tonight, for our first episode in like 3 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
We're gonna be talking about a morbid topic that most UFO or alien enthusiasts or paranormal enthusiasts or at least tangentially aware of, and that is cattle mutilation. Or livestock mutilation. Have you heard a whole lot about that before?
I mean, yes and no, I suppose. I mean, I've heard about it. Of course, it's become sort of a synonymous with aliens, I feel like, and with a lot of that stuff. But I've never heard of. I'm excited for tonight because I don't know of any specific cattle mutilations. I just know of cattle mutilations, right? So I'm excited to put some faces to those cattle. Or have their faces, ripped off. I don't know how it's going to work.
Some of their, at least part of their face is there.
Yeah, Grace. It sounds real rough. I'm going to admit.
It's I'm not gonna lie. It's not great. I think the first time I heard Heidi.
Yeah, that's I stand by that, TBD. That's
I think the first time I ever heard of cattle mutilations was probably like so when I was a kid, I loved like alien documentaries and shit on they'd be on the Discovery Channel of all places, right? Like late at night. I remember in the summertime specifically, like their summer programming was always pretty alien and like paranormal heavy.
I mean, I feel like that makes more sense on the Discovery Channel than what they have on there now. You were discovering a lot more than watching, House Hunters or something.
Yeah, right. Is House Hunters? No, House Hunters is not Discovery, is it? Okay, yeah. So, excuse me, I'm still recovering. I'm still dry. I'm so dry. Hey, Boof.
What's up, Boof?
Half cats. So, half cats, that's interesting. I also learned a phrase called horse ripping while doing research for this topic.
I don't like
and
that
I decided
phrase.
Not to find out too much about that.
I don't like that phrase. I feel like
I don't like that phrase either.
I feel like there's a specific sound that horse ripping makes that I don't like. It's like but wetter. I don't know. That's enough.
Okay. Anyway, so cattle and other livestock mutilations have hit headlines and, like I said, late night documentaries for decades, haunting small town ranchers and hurting their bank accounts. Whether these animals died of natural or nefarious causes is up for debate. But the details have some saying aliens.
Aliens.
I'm not saying what is it? He's like this with his hair crazy. I'm not
The
saying it was
crazy guy,
aliens,
yeah.
but aliens. Mutilations have even been the subject of 2 independent federal investigations in the United States. And so, yes, as you may have anticipated already, there is a content warning for this episode. That's right, my friends. It is our first ever content warning.
If you are squeamish about vivisection, if you just really like cows, blood is probably going to be seen.
Surprisingly, not a lot of blood.
Okay.
That's actually one of those things. That's one of the weird things about it.
Because they took the blood, probably.
The blood is gone.
Yeah, the blood's gone. That's why I've
blood's
also heard, right, not to already be very often, but we're going to be very tangential to, like, the chupacabra. There are these myths that, like, a lot of the animal mutilation is often blamed on the chupacabras or some sort of vampire animal of some sort.
Yeah. Hey, Pfeiffer, I love your attitude.
So everybody's been warned.
Yeah. So let me get my as usual, I have prepared a PowerPoint slideshow.
Slideshow.
Here we go. Do you like my pretty scene of cows? Here, I'm just
dude, those cows don't know what's coming.
Right? Still pastoral. So yeah, okay, yeah, so content warning, we are going to be talking in detail about mutilated animal corpses, decaying corpses, and I have some pretty gross photos to show. So yeah, if you don't like that, click away. But I know you guys, viewers of the show, have the strongest of constitutions. So we're going to be fine. Okay.
Just scar your roommate.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, sorry, Grace. Jesus.
Mutilation.
So stories of livestock mutilations go far back, as far back as 1606, actually, as recorded in the records of the court of James I of England. Paranormal researcher Charles Fort collected many accounts of cattle mutilations in England in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. But here in the USA, they weren't recorded until 1966. And in 1967, a horse named Snippy, or also possibly named Lady, there is some confusion about the name. Snippy made cattle mutilation famous nationwide, even though it was a horse. This was also the first time livestock mutilations were associated with UFOs and aliens.
Wait, so there was a horse named Snippy and it got cut apart?
Yes, it got mutilated, yeah.
But
yeah,
its name was Snippy. I should have seen that coming, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? I mean...
God damn it. Yeah, R.I.P. Snippy. So on September 7th, 1967, in Alamosa, Colorado, one of the horses boarded at Harry King's ranch went missing. When King found her, he discovered a grisly scene. Oh, wait, what have I done? I put it away. It needs to come back. Okay. Oh, I didn't. I meant to change that. Okay, hold on.
Oh, no. Nobody looked.
So this article about the incident ran in the Pueblo Chieftain a couple days later. So Snippy, a 3-year-old Appaloosa horse, didn't return to the Harry King Ranch for her usual evening drink on September 7th. Sorry, Grace. And her owner is blaming a flying saucer, or at least a radioactive surgeon.
I'm sure some of it is just vernacular of like the time, but I love the idea that the horse and the saucer are tangled.
Yeah, did horse
see here, horse. Like they tied their arms together and like had knives.
Yeah.
Tangling.
This bizarre event in the sparsely populated San Luis Valley occurred September 9th. Is that what it says? Oh, this says September 7th, but they said September 9th. When Harry King began to search for the saddle pony. He found Snippy just a quarter mile from his ranch house. King gave this account. There were no tracks near the dead horse, but the animal had been completely skinned. All that remained of the neck and shoulders were bleached bones, but they were still intact and attached to the rest of the body. The cut around the neck was smooth, not a jagged edge. No blood remained in the horse's body, and there was none on the ground. King returned to the site the next day with the horse's owner, Mr. and Mrs. Burl Lewis. Nothing had changed except a sickening sweet odor pervaded the area, and the exposed bones were bright pink. During a search of the immediate area, they found what appeared to be 15 circular exhaust marks. They covered an area about 100 by 50 yards. 100 yards north of the carcass, they found a 3-foot bush squashed to within 10 inches of the ground. The area within a 10-foot radius of the bush had also been flattened to within 10 inches of the ground. Near the area, Mrs. Lewis found a piece of the horse's flesh encased in a piece of skin. It was very sticky, she said, and she dropped it. Her hand began to burn and turned red and continued to burn until she washed her hands. Jesus. On another check of the area, they found more flattened brush, but this time there were 6 indentations forming a circle 3 feet in diameter. Each indentation was 2 inches across and 4 inches deep. By September 23rd, the neck and head bones had turned black. Mrs. Lewis tried in vain to get the authorities to check the incident, but most of them told her the horse had been struck by lightning.
Oh, no.
None of them had visited the area. A check of the area by a forestry official with a civil defense Geiger counter found the radiation count to be high. The exhaust marks were radioactive, as were the areas where the brush had been flattened. The count lessened, however, as readings were made closer to the dead horse. Agnes King, 57, mother of Harry King, reported she saw a large object pass over the ranch house on the day the horse was believed to have disappeared. Many residents of the area have reported citing unidentified flying objects. Joe Wadsworth, a research investigator for the University of Colorado UFO Project, said Thursday, quote, "We're doing preliminary investigation by telephone to see if it's worthwhile sending anyone down to Alamosa," end quote. He called the report interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So these are some details that you will begin to see again and again. No tracks near the horse. Cut around the neck was smooth, no blood. And here you can see this is poor old Snippy. Off
Snippy
to the glue factory. Snipped. Yeah, Snippy got snipped. You can see the vertebrae of Snippy's neck here because it's, completely down to the bone, the skull. And then here's a close-up. You can see like a dark area surrounding the body. But what's interesting, as you can see, there's just this very straight cut, just cut right around the edge, and then the rest of the body is fine.
That's so
Except
weird.
Apparently the skin was missing. Apparently quite a bit of the skin was missing. So yeah, just a straight
That
cut.
Doesn't make any sense.
I know. Yeah, humans cannot cut straight, Rachel. You are absolutely correct.
Now, Rachel, they can cut straight, but they can't cut straight. I don't know, and leave that bone completely attached and have no blood anywhere. It just feels crazy.
It's weird. It's freaking weird, right? So
Snippy may rise again.
Yeah, wait, hold on.
Oh my God, zombie Snippy.
Zombie Snippy. Okay, so the claims made in the article about exhaust marks, indentations, and radiation levels were never verified. A few weeks later, this is where Snippy rises again. A local veterinarian, Dr. Wallace Leary, acquired the carcass from the owner in order to mount the skeleton outside his practice as a novelty. So there's Snippy. Again, a bit thinner, it says.
A bit thinner.
Dr. Leary, concluded that Snippy's cause of death was an infection. In the process of preparing the bones, he says he discovered the source and cause of the infection: 2 small caliber bullet wounds in the right flank. Wikipedia states that two Alamosa State College students confessed to shooting the horse several weeks after the news of the incident hit the press. But what I'd like to know is, how did neither the rancher nor the owners, nor the forest people, nor the sheriff, nor anyone else who came out there notice 2 bullet holes?
No, what I'd like to know is, even if they did notice the bullet holes, what kind of poison, illness, whatever, only affects your head, and then it makes all the skin fall off, and it makes your head fall off, except not the bones, just all the flesh, and but only your head. Like the rest of your body is fine. That's not usually the way poisons work. Like if you've got an illness in your body, or if you right.
Yeah, it's
that seems like weird. A lie.
Survey says that was a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, very strange, but I do love the idea that Snippy stood for several years outside of this guy's veterinary office. Like, that's kind of disconcerting, right? Like, you go to bring your dog in for a vaccine. There's a fucking real life horse skeleton outside. Apparently, Snippy has changed hands several times.
Yeah. And then you're like, "Oh, doc, did you was that your patient?" He's like, "Nah, man. I just thought it'd be fucked up." You're like, "What?" "Yeah, man, I just thought it'd be fucked up to have an animal skeleton outside my work."
Right? Memento mori, baby.
Yeah.
Also, I want to know, so one of the theories is that, like, it's natural decay, you know? But how long was this horse missing for? They said that the horse didn't show up at 7 p.m. and so the next day they went out looking for the horse. And
yeah, so less than 24 hours they found
right?
it.
That's right. So, like, that kind of decay does not happen in 24 hours. It doesn't happen in 48 hours, I don't think.
Again, it doesn't stop at a point.
Right.
Like, it's not like decay works its way down and then just like, nah, we'll stop right there.
Right. Fucking weird.
Fucking weird.
Fucking weird. Well, the story of Snippy was just the beginning. There was a rash of incidents in Oklahoma and Nebraska in 1974. Between April and October of 1975, nearly 200 cases of cattle mutilation were reported in the state of Colorado alone.
What?
Corpses were found missing eyes, ears, tongues, udders, genitalia, anuses, and skin. Incisions seem to have been made with surgical precision. Sometimes the blood was drained from the victim. So, also, no tracks, animal or human, were found nearby. Pathologists at Colorado State University reported that some of the mutilations were obviously performed with sharp instruments. The pathologists also said there was no indication the animals had been poisoned or, quote, captured in any way. That year, the Colorado Associated Press voted it the state's #1 story. Colorado's then Senator Floyd Haskell asked the FBI to get involved, and in 1979, they finally did. This is the cover page of a very long release from the FBI that was released, under a FOIA request at some point. You can download the PDF of all 5 parts online at the at the FBI's website.
Justina Flynn said the VOT, FYI, but what is VOT?
Voice of treason. That's what you are, Justina Flynn. Just kidding. Hi, Justina. Thanks for watching. So on January 15th, 1980, the Bureau closed the investigation, putting out a statement saying that, quote, none of the reported cases has involved what appear to be mutilations by other than common predators, end quote. But local law enforcement and cattle owners strongly disagreed. I keep losing my PowerPoint whenever I click on the screen. So the news of cattle mutilations caught the attention of Linda Moulton Howe, who we actually may have mentioned here before, I think, when we were talking about some other alien stuff. She's an author, journalist, and at the time, she was the director of special projects at CBS Denver. So she was like an actual, legit journalist. Stanford educated. Did I say that? Oh, Howe was Stanford educated and started her career making environmental documentaries about smog and radioactive waste. Yeah. Hey, listen. My mom has a landline, okay? Leave Linda alone. Let's see. In the mid-70s, she began investigating the cattle mutilations in Colorado, and in 1980, released the Emmy Award-winning documentary Strange Harvest. Here it is on VHS.
Oh, that's what we have to have a viewing of.
Right? I know. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it online. Like a way to view it. I'm sure. I mean, it was a cursory glance, a cursory search, but I'm sure we can figure it out. Here she is with her Emmy. Then, after another decade of research, she released a follow-up book, An Alien Harvest. Further evidence linking animal mutilations and human abductions to alien life forms. Both titles speculate that the mutilations were conducted by, you guessed it, extraterrestrials. In an interview she did earlier this year, she said, quote, law enforcement and ranchers saw strange glowing circular craft at night extend beams down into their pastures, where they would find a bloodlessly mutilated animal after the sun came up. It was Sheriff Tex Graves. First of all, some of the names, okay, in here are great. Tex Graves, okay? Sheriff Tex Graves.
Of course.
You can't fucking make that shit up. Of Logan County, Colorado, who told me in September 1979, the perpetrators of these animal mutilations are creatures from outer space. End quote. Hal is now a renowned ufologist. Here's a fun fact, though. An Alien Harvest, this book in paperback, is currently going for $60 on Amazon and over $200 in hardcover. And I found a signed first edition copy on Biblio for $950.
So you got it.
No, it must be out of print is the only thing I can figure, because it's like, huh.
So we're gonna start a GoFundMe to get an Alien Harvest, the first edition signed print.
Yeah, we'll do a giveaway or something. Yeah, so the only like evidence of UFOs is like, people saw it, but like people say that they saw lights in the sky or whatever. I couldn't find any like real accounts other than the one from Snippy. However, it was kind of difficult to find like first-hand accounts or like reports of first-hand accounts from like 70s, 80s, 90s. So I don't know. I'm not really sure about that. Maybe aliens, maybe not. Maybe the government. Sometimes these incidents would also coincide with the now infamous black helicopters. Have you ever heard people talk about the black helicopters before?
No.
Okay, so black helicopters is a thing. Like, it frequently they show up when like other stuff happens. So like UFOs and cattle mutilations and like all this other stuff. It's like so ubiquitous in like paranormal, culture that it's like a throwaway thing now. Where people are like, oh, and I bet there were black helicopters there too, or like whatever. So these are speculated to be operated by covert government agencies or other nefarious groups. ranchers got so jumpy about helicopters flying over their land in the 70s that the Bureau of Land Management had to stop doing flyovers for a short period of time because they were afraid they would be shot out of the sky.
Yeah.
Also, I saw the National Guard started flying their helicopters at 2,000 feet instead of the usual 1,000 feet because also they were like people had started shooting at the helicopter. Fucking ranchers who, by the way, are grazing their cattle on publicly owned land. Don't even get me started on that shit. So yeah, so that's fucking weird. You know, sometimes they see the black helicopters and it's like,
that's weird.
What are you doing? You know? Do you like my in-between photos this time? This is just an in-between photo.
I do like your in-between photos.
The in-between photos get better later. Okay. So when I first thought about doing this topic, I thought of it as something that like used to happen. I remember like seeing a thing about it in like the late 90s, early 2000s, like on Discovery Channel, like I said.
No, something just happened in Oregon, right?
Yup.
Yeah, I remember reading about this.
I had no idea. And again, like I said, this is one of my favorite things about doing the show is that every single time I learn a whole bunch of stuff that I had no idea about before. Like I knew a little bit about cattle mutilations, but I had no idea that they are still going strong. Holy shit. Yeah, just like you said, cattle mutilation is still happening. And currently there is an epidemic in Oregon that's been going on for about 3 years.
Yeah.
In the summer of 2019, 5 young purebred bulls were killed, drained of blood, and their tongues and genitals surgically cut out at the Sylvia's Valley Ranch in Oregon. Colby Marshall, the ranch's vice president, said the bulls were worth about $6,000 each, not to mention the loss of income that they would have gotten from breeding the bulls. After the incident, ranch staff were instructed to ride in pairs and encouraged to carry firearms.
That bull is hollow, dude.
Right? It looks deflated.
It's hollow.
Right? Yeah, seriously. It really is, though, Rachel. Like, it really is always the genitals. The local sheriff, Dan Jenkins, said that there was very little evidence, but that it was clear that it wasn't bears, cougars, wolves, poisonous plants, and that the animals weren't shot.
We've eaten all the genitals on our planet because we love genitals. That's so good. But we'd have to go to another planet now and find cow genitals. We just can't stop. And once you eat the genitals, it ruins the cow. Then they can't have more cows. You've eaten their genitals.
Once you pop, you truly cannot stop. The ranch put up a $25,000 reward for information that could solve the case, but as far as I read, no explanation has been found, and the reward has not been paid out. So, fucking yikes! So that's creepy. Yeah, it totally looks deflated.
Fucks me up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it might just be like that weird angle of the thing.
No, they look deflated. Like that's how the author described it in the article.
Cool.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucked up. So here's this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's better. Grace, look.
Yeah.
Grace, look.
Grace,
it's better.
Out, Grace.
It's better now. Oh, come on.
Oh, Grace.
It's not going to stay this way though. So in the first quarter of this year, 2021, obviously. Oops. Sorry.
Next picture is just that puppy just slaughtered. No.
Okay, so like I said, in the first quarter of this year, 7 cattle were found mutilated and missing body parts in Crook County, Oregon. Oh wait, no, that's not this one. This is somebody else. Back to the puppy. The first was discovered on a remote ranch in February. The sheriff's office then told ranchers to check on their animals, and 6 more turned up. The undersheriff said that there was very little physical evidence. Quote, "This area is very rural ranch land, as well as public Bureau of Land Management land. Under Sheriff James Savage said. James Savage, another great name.
Another great. What's an undersheriff?
Like I don't
That's
know.
a weird thing.
Like the vice sheriff,
Undersheriff.
I guess.
I work undersheriff.
Quote, the cause of these cattle deaths were not natural and are under investigation. Fucking yikes. Yeah, deputy kind of, but it's not a deputy.
No, please call me undersheriff.
Yeah. I prefer undersheriff. Thank you.
It's got the word sheriff in it.
Yeah, I really do think it's like vice sheriff, right? Assistant chief. Okay. Rancher Clint Johnson, this is his father, Doug, found one of his father's Black Angus cows dead on March 28th of this year at about 4 p.m. He described the scene as, quote, weird, but he must have been a man of few words because it was fucked up. A straight cut appeared to have been used to remove the cow's lips and jaw and the skin around its mouth.
Nope.
The tongue was also missing. The left eye had been removed and the skin around the eye socket was missing. All done with apparent precision. Here's the face. That's upsetting as fuck.
Looks like an alligator.
I know, right? It's creepy to see what the bones look
Yeah.
like. You know what freaks me out is that your teeth are your fucking bones, man. Your bones are supposed to be inside your body, not peeking out.
Not peeking out through your
The cow's udder, you can see here, right? The cow's udder, genitals, and rectum had also been removed. The carotid artery had been cut, and though a cow of that size usually has around 4 gallons of blood, none was found on the ground. The cow had been dead for about 2 days when it was found. Quote, no animal did this, said Doug Johnson, Clint's father and the ranch owner. There was substantial skeletal damage, and Doug speculated that it was dropped from a significant height to do that much damage. Doug said that unlike other instances of dead animals, coyotes and birds didn't feed on this cow. Quote, they won't go near it.
Yeah,
End
it's like
quote.
witches. Witches is right, Chris.
Witches!
Or devil worshippers. Like I could definitely see all of these. I love that. I could definitely see this as like sacrifices for like demons and something, or like if you summon something,
maybe
you have to give it a cow anus.
Yeah.
Where is my rectum? You have awoken me.
Oh my god. That's so funny. Butt Thulu. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. So the flesh wasn't torn or ripped as in a coyote or a wolf attack. There was no sign of a struggle. Did I already say that part? Yes, I did. It doesn't matter. They won't go near it. There were no tracks or from a vehicle or footprints. The cow alone was worth $1,600, but it had several more years of breeding left, and it left behind a calf that had to be bottle fed. Johnson said, quote, I asked the baby calf if it saw anything, but it won't tell me. So, you know, Doug's, he's a dad. He's a jokester, all right.
Yeah, he hasn't lost his sense of humor. That's good.
Yeah. Aw, look at that. Oh my, I definitely thought this was grass at first, but that's a rug.
That's AstroTurf.
I think it's AstroTurf. It looks like a rug to me.
I can totally be a rug. I could see that like a shag carpet or like a wool carpet. Not wool. I know what you're saying.
Grace. Oh, that's not the one I want. This one. What kind of moon? How do you know about this? What do you know?
She's already said too much.
I know you've said too much.
Yeah, but Pfeiffer, I need a corgi too. Just a corgi puppy really is everything.
I want one so bad. Holy shit. They're so adorable. Look at it. Look at his little toe beans.
Look at him.
Okay, one more. Here we go. It's the worst one.
Wow. Wow. A warning there would have been good. Whoa.
But just wait for the name of the guy in this one. This one definitely has the best name. Okay, so on September 12th, just a few months ago, another incident occurred in Ukiah, Oregon. Fee Stubblefield.
How do you spell fee? F-E-E?
F-E-E.
Oh,
F-E-E.
yes.
Fee Stubblefield was checking on his cattle when he found one of his cows lying on its side in the dirt. Again, the cow's mouth, tongue, glands, and genitals had been cleanly removed. Quote, "It's a very unusual cut," end quote, Stubblefield said. Quote, "There was no blood," end quote. Again, no footprints or tracks were found. He said, "What's more disturbing is now that we've identified this as a mutilation kill, we've actually discovered we've had 2 other ones." Stubblefield put up trail cameras to monitor the dead cow, which as of September 28th was still laying there where it had been found. The footage from the cameras produced no suspects, but did reveal one more disturbing detail. Predators and scavengers are avoiding the area and refuse to eat the carcass. Coyotes have approached it, but kept their distance. So that's gross. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking, yeah. What
Yeah.
is happening in Oregon? Seriously. It's fucked up, man. Look, this is fucked up. Look at this fucking.
Yep. I see it. I see it.
It's always the same, right? It's always the same places. Which is like pretty gross. Anyway. Here's a cute cow. So that's the most recent one I found, and it's so crazy because I was thinking like this was a thing of the past, but no, it's happening right now. It just happened in September. So there's a lot of theories, but before we jump into that, Ben, what have you gleaned from all of this? What are you thinking? What are your thoughts? Hit me.
I mean,
beyond just being horrified.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little horrified. I'm just trying to process. I mean, this is a lot, right? So part of me, I guess what I'm having the most trouble with is the lack of blood, right? Like everything else I can sort of, and I know that seems weird, but like these are like huge creatures. And they're not like, this isn't in a slaughterhouse. This isn't somewhere where you can easily put down like a tarp and make sure that you can wash away all the extra things. They're in the middle of nowhere on Bureau of Land Management land. And they've been like, right, vivisected sort of like so precisely that I don't know what to believe. I guess part of me, it's funny because part of me at first I was like, why would aliens come all the way here and do that? But we do that shit all the time. Like we like, not necessarily on other planets, but just because we can't yet. But we go like find an animal and just like slice it in half and be like, how's this thing work? Right? Like it's like fucking. It's weird, and like they used to do it really a lot back in the day. Like especially
they used to do it to people.
Just, like, yeah, and they just would put shit in jars. And so like if that's what's going on, like if this is just like an intergalactic curio show, right? I don't know why they're not doing it to people, but maybe they are, as you know, people are fucking whatever, or it is some sort of government weapon. I guess would be my only other sort of thought. Because otherwise I could blame it on Satanists, or I could blame it on witch. Like I know it sounds silly, but I mean,
no.
Animal sacrifices.
That's literally the first thing on the list.
Yeah.
Past aliens is satanic cults.
But it's the precision, which would require usually like putting an animal under, if you're gonna do that kind of cutting. Right. It was just, there's like a lot of weird shit that doesn't make sense. So like, this this is harder to explain than a lot of other stuff we've talked about on this show to me, which I guess is why it's fucking me up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So obviously aliens is one thing, like you said, like why would aliens do this? Personally, I'm not even sure that I believe that aliens are actually even here. I think maybe their drones are here, like unmanned aircraft. But I don't know. I mean, unless they can like bend space and time, which maybe they can. Maybe they are here. I don't know. But I guess it could all be automated. It could be robots too. I guess that's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, right. But it's fucking weird.
It is fucking weird. So one of the other theories that's quite popular, especially back during the 70s and 80s, was satanic cults. History.com says, quote, some law enforcement communities opine that the animals were being mutilated by people in strange quasi-religious rituals.
Sure.
In 1980, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police blamed the mutilations on an unidentified cult. The Department of Criminal Investigations in Iowa, meanwhile, asserted that the mutilations were being conducted by Satanists. End quote. This could be attributed, at least in part, to what's known as the Satanic Panic that happened.
Sure.
Which was a moral panic that, about the alleged existence of satanic ritual abuse that started in the 80s and still persists today. All kinds of things suffered backlash from the satanic panic, from rock and roll to D&D to all kinds of stuff. So usually, it was not.
Here's the thing.
The case.
Again, like my rational brain wants to be like, yeah, Satanists, like that probably makes the most sense rationally, until I'm like, there are so many big problems with that. Like, one, if this many cattle are being, okay, so many questions. One, if this many cattle are being mutilated, then where are these giant like Satan churches? I know there are churches of Satan, but like,
so
and two, if this is really a church of Satan, then why wouldn't they just raise their own cattle and not have to fucking deal with this? Like, they must have some rich person in Montana who's a Satanist, right?
Right?
I mean,
rich people are always Satanists. So what's wild is that these have happened all over the world. So obviously here and in South America and England, Canada, obviously, as I mentioned, the Mounted Police. Australia has had several. Linda Moulton Howe said that she documented cattle mutilations in every single country in the world, except, can you guess which country she could not find?
North Korea.
No,
there's probably a lot there.
India.
Really?
Because cows are sacred, I guess. I assume.
Oh,
can't fuck with cows. Although who knows? That could also.
Well, but that leads me to believe that it's not aliens then, right? Because like aliens don't know about that shit.
Right. But who knows? Also, I wonder,
if aliens followed the customs of the country they were in, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, nice, Grace. She called it India. Sacred. Oops. I don't know. I don't know. First of all, I don't know how credible Linda Moulton Howe is. Second of all, she released that book in '89, and that could just be like some racist bullshit that she was like, well, it wouldn't happen in India. I don't know. And like every country in the world, like she went to fucking Sri Lanka and like Vatican City. There's like cattle mutilations in I don't know. You know what I mean? Fucking Siam, Vietnam, Laos. Was Siam still Siam in 19? I don't know when that changed.
Everybody out there in the chat too, throw it in the chat. What do you guys think happened to these cows? I want to know what everybody thinks.
Yeah, tell me what you think.
This is freaking me out.
So another thing, like as you mentioned, government experiments could be government experiments. Christopher O'Brien, the Arizona-based author of Stalking the Herd, Unraveling the Cattle Mutilation Mystery, said, quote, "This is more complicated than aliens, and that only about 1 in 10 cattle mutilations might have a connection to extraterrestrials." I think what he means by that is like only 1 in 10 of like reported cattle mutilations. Someone says, "Oh, I saw a UFO like the night before." You know what I mean? O'Brien believes the mutilations could be part of a covert environmental monitoring process perpetrated by a shadowy operation with highly advanced technology. O'Brien cited that modern cattle farming is detrimental to the environment and the future of humanity on this planet. Which is true. Cattle farming is really bad for the environment. So
Yeah,
it could be. You're right, Grace. How is that more complicated than aliens?
you would also think that like if you wanted to stop cattle farming, like mutilating like 5 cows every 10 years is probably not the best way to go about doing that.
Yeah.
I know it happens more than that, but like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, just kill a bunch of them if that's what you're trying to do, or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't quite understand his rationale there. I do like MLab's guess if they were raptured. Yeah. However, I'm pretty sure raptured people disappear, and these animals did not disappear.
These are cows. They got up there, and God was pissed.
Yeah. And then obviously another, the most
Rachel Edelman thinks there's just one weird guy. Just a cow mutilator. He's been mutilating cows for years.
Decades. Traveling like
a Jack
all
the
over
Ripper.
Country.
I hope it's a family, Rachel. I'm going to go a step further because it has to, since it's decades. I think it's a man or a woman who have passed it on to their children. And they're like an itinerant family who travel around slaughtering cows for their own things. I like that. I like that.
So the other thing that it could be obviously is just natural causes.
I don't think so.
So Brian Dunning, host of the podcast Skeptoid, explained it this way, and this is corroborated by some other research I did, but it doesn't explain everything. He said, when an animal dies in the field, predation sets in very quickly, the first responders being insects and birds. He said this in an email interview with the Daily Yonder. The exposed soft tissue is always the first to go, which makes sense. Eyes, lips, tongues, genitals. As the animal is dead with zero blood pressure, there is no bleeding. The exposed skin dries and shrinks tight, giving the impression of a perfect scalpel-like slice. Blowflies and other insects, whose eggs can hatch in 10 hours, fill the wounds with maggots, which can expose clean, dry bone in just a few more. End quote. However, that doesn't explain everything. Because, not to, I don't know, whatever. Like, this fucking cow, like, you can see the ground, right? This cow had its carotid artery slashed. And there's no big pool of blood that would pour out of an animal that's full of 4 gallons of blood, right? Like 4 gallons.
The blood is what's the weirdest thing to me. Well,
right. And so they're saying that like the blood just pools, you know what I mean? Like because the heart's not pumping, the blood doesn't come out.
But then the blood would still be there. The blood doesn't just like disintegrate.
Right.
Especially not in 24 hours. So like when they went
like you're trying to tell me that this happens in 20 hours? Like the animal dies and 20 hours later it looks like this? I don't know, man. I don't know. And like there's lots of soft tissue. Like why isn't the rest of the belly and the organs? Why aren't those?
Yeah.
Why isn't the same thing happening there? And like some of them are pretty gross, but this one's pretty fresh. And it's still a very precision cut. Like, this animal is not bloated. I don't know. Like, this animal just died and there's nothing. And like, then you would think like, oh, when you show up to find it, then there would still be bugs. There would still be maggots and flies, just like you said, but they're not finding that.
Right.
And they're also finding that predators don't come and eat this. Like, coyotes normally would come and fucking devour one of these things, but they wouldn't. And this, like, look at this. Like, this is like a fucking smorgasbord to a goddamn coyote pack. But they wouldn't eat it.
I wouldn't touch it.
That's what he said. They wouldn't touch it. So.
Yeah, I think it's super sketchy for sure.
It's super sketchy for sure. And I don't know. I mean, it's totally possible that it's just natural causes. But if it is natural causes, man, that is some real crazy shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's most likely natural causes, I guess, because that's the easiest answer is usually the one that is right? Fulcrum's razor, isn't that
Occam's razor, yeah.
Occam's razor, yeah.
Occam's razor.
So that then, but there's just a lot that doesn't make sense to me. Like, if it is natural causes, then it's like some, I don't know, some disease that only attacks the head and lips and like genitals.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just like thinking about, like, wouldn't their gut also be like prone to the same decay that like their lips and butthole are? Like, why their butthole but like not their stomach? I don't know.
Why their butthole?
Why their butthole but not their stomach? That's going on a t-shirt. You can buy that at qawmerch.com/butthole. So yeah, I don't know. Freaky deaky. Real gross. So I don't know, but it is weird. So it's 12:56. We got 4 minutes left, and I just want to talk quickly about the schedule for this month. So if you look at your calendar, you'll notice that the 4th and 5th Friday of the month this month are Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So we will not be having shows those nights because we have lives and families. So we're doing 2 weeks in a row. So this week, obviously, and then next week, we're doing the Midnight Creep Out on Friday, December 17th. And the topic will be, drum roll please, Christmas Ghosts!
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you knew this, Ben, but telling ghost stories used to be a thing people did on Christmas.
I did. Hence A Christmas Carol.
Right. Hence, I almost said A Christmas Story.
No, I mean A Christmas Story, but Ralphie's been dead the whole time because he shot his eye out.
Right. It's like The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. So on the 17th, we will be doing an episode about Christmas ghosts. How exciting. And that marks
That'll
the end
great.
of this PowerPoint. Oh God. Oh God.
Oh God.
Here we go.
Don't look at your computer.
So that should be exciting.
Jess, we got 3 minutes left. Where else can people find you? What are you up to?
What am I up to?
When you're
not a whole lot, Ben.
people.
When I'm not scaring people. So I'm supposed to be doing Simile the Jest, but I haven't been doing that for a few weeks. We've been on a break. I think we're trying to find a new date and time that's going to work a little bit better, and then possibly maybe a little bit of a different format. So stay tuned.
Exciting.
And more, I know, right? And more information will become available about that as events warrant.
Changes.
Yeah, we're gonna do some changes. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure. I don't wanna reveal.
I don't know what, but Jess is in the laboratory and she's making up something cool.
I mean, I've got my black helicopters. I've gotten my precision tools, and I'm just doing some experiments.
And it was cow anuses, so
Yeah,
you're good to
yeah,
go.
I've got plenty of cow anuses. Ben, when you're
Yeah.
not on here, playing, I don't even know, because I want to say like Resident
Yeah,
Believer or like Funny Man, or like I don't even know. But when you're not here on the Midnight Creep Out, where can people find you?
Next Monday I get to be on Friends Auto for the first time in forever. I'm very excited. I've been teaching a class during that time, but the class is over. So now I get to play on Monday night here. And if you want to come see me live in person, Union Comedy is a theater that I am co-founded, and there's shows on Friday and Saturday nights, 593 Somerville Avenue, Somerville, Massachusetts. UnionComedy.com. You can find all that information about who's playing when.
UnionComedy.com. Make sure you check it out. Yeah, I know. I wanted to see The Pickle tomorrow night at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
I've already booked myself to see a different show at a different theater.
That's okay.
Stupid.
That's okay. There's a lot of great stuff going on.
So much
tomorrow.
happening.
That's awesome. We are proud of that. That is not a bad thing.
No, I know. It's so exciting to be able to go out and see new things. But I did do a workshop at Union Comedy a few weeks ago with the Rachel J. Andelman. And it was great. It was so fun. So you should definitely check it out. Classes and workshops are also available in addition to shows.
Awesome.
And also, you reminded me, I frequently do participate in Friend Theft Auto as a player. So I might not be on the screen, but my avatar might be.
Yeah. Jess, this is awesome. This is really fun tonight.
It was fun tonight.
This is a fun one.
A fun and a creepy one. And and fortunately next week, hopefully it won't be as fucking gross. As far as I know.
Next week. Yeah.
Yeah, so don't forget, next week, the 17th, Friday at midnight, right here on 2MB Studios. And, as always, we hope you enjoyed it. We hope you come back. But most of all, we hope you were creeped out. We did it. Bye.
Bye.
Oh no.